Hey everybody, and welcome to Hex Token channel. Your host Superman in the house. I hope you guys are doing well today. Who likes Hex? Put your hand up. Who likes Pulsechain? Put your hand up. Well, everyone loves it. So, well, if I'm everybody, then that makes sense. So, a big welcome to you anyway. Jokes aside, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell on the way in. Very, very cool. We're going to get into obviously crypto. Start off with that. We're going to get into Hex. We're going to talk quite a bit about Hex. Then we're going to talk about Pulsechain. We're going to talk quite a bit about Pulsechain. And then we're going to get into the Hex ecosystem with Hedron and Koza. And then we're going to have some specialty topics. We're going to be talking about Pulse Bitcoin, briefly talking about Zen, and briefly talking about BNB pot. And then we're going to wrap up with the Hex daily stats. So that's what's in store for the live stream. Have you guys sort of started doing a lot of contents at the beginning. So hope you guys like that. There's something here for everybody. JB in the house there is first. The first time I've seen you, number one there, JB. Good to see you. Big shout out there, evening from the UK. KD in there, number two, one of our community moderators. Awesome to see KD. Tortoise Johnny is in as well. Excellent, Smithers. Excellent. I like that. Moroccan's in the house there, says hello to the best Hex streamer and all the Mexicans. Nice one there, Moroccan. Michael R there with the Rockets. Like that. We've got Sandy Beach for another moderator in the house. Hey, good to see you, Sandy Beach. Pleasure. And Hexkins, yeah, Bexicans or Hexkins. Hexkins is the way. Maybe Besticans. You could call us Besticans. That would work. Sarah G's in the house. Hello, Sarah. Always a pleasure. And of course, Brian as well, one of our two community leaders in the house. Good to see you. And Tintop as well. What's up, Tintop? One of our community, our latest community moderators. So good to see you in the house. Christian as well. Hello. What's cracking? What's cracking? Always a pleasure, Christian. And hello, Hex Token, everybody from Sandy Beach. We got Brazology in the house as well. Now, we've had a couple of thumbnails that we've used the last couple of days, and a lot of that artwork has been from Brazology. So if you haven't checked out Brazology's artwork on Twitter, definitely follow him. And of course, you can catch up with him in our Discord if you want to ping him in there. You can get in contact with Brazology there with the artwork. So Pulsechain and Hex artwork looks pretty amazing. Hex Hog's in the house there. Hey, Hex Hog. Like it up, folks. Definitely smash the subscribe button, hit the like button on the way in. Now, if you're watching this after the live stream, just leave your comments and I will respond to all the comments. So get in there. Bestican Hexican says Sandy Beach. I like that. That has a good ring to it. All right. Yay, Briz. Yeah, Briz. That's for sure. Let's get into it, folks. We got BTC at the moment, $22,699. That's down 0.5%. We've got dominance is at 41.2%. We got Ethereum there at $1,627. They're down at just a tad there. We got BNB at $302, up 0.75% there. Those are sort of some of the cool things we've got going on. The stable coins are slightly above peg, which is kind of cool for USDC, USD Tether. The standout at the moment is Axis there, the old play and earn gaming there. Apparently the player numbers are down, but the token is up. So you worked that one out. That is going pretty well, 33%. Up to $11.96. So that's pretty cool. Let us know if you know any insights into AXS in the chat there. Those are kind of the standouts that I can see. We're going to jump over to Nomics and have a look at the ranking. We're currently global ranking 1.07 trillion. We're up 0.25% there, so that's nice. We're going to go through and have a quick look through the top 100 and see anything standing out. So we've got APT standing out there, 13%. Axie Infinity, which we just talked about, is up 34%, which is a pretty nice day in the office. And we've got Flow is up 10%. Don't know what Flow is. Might have to check that one out. What else there? Phantom is up 11.47%. Who else is doing pretty well here in the top 100? Just scrolling through. And that's it. That's it on the top 100. So those are the kind of two standouts there. So you can check those out if you want to after the live stream, see what's going on there. BTC, let's have a look at the long-term trend. We can see that it's over the 200-day moving average. It has really popped up there. It's also over the resistance that we've got there as well for the long term since the top of Bitcoin reached back here in November up at the 60, 70,000 almost. It's pretty high up there. And, of course, here we are now looking pretty strong, actually. That being said, of course, the 1st of February, we have the Fed interest rate hike. Now, we were looking for 25 basis points and a less hawkish forecast or outlook that would keep things rolling, I think. Keep things rolling. at the moment. Crypto is rocking it up in the DMV. So this week coming up, just be a bit more cautious as we head towards that 1st of February. Probably what I'd say there. Hey, Michael R, welcome to Hexkins. Michael R there. Good to see you in the house. Just became a Hex Token channel member. So great, Michael. Other than that, or you're renewing, I'd have to double check, but good to see Michael R in the house. Woohoo! Yeah, use those emojis too, Michael. It's one of the perks of being a Hex Token channel member. You get all the emojis, and of course, let us know in Discord if I haven't already upgraded you. That'd be cool. What I was going to say is if you want to become a member of the channel, hit the join button. We've got Pulseskins, Hexkins, and the Richard Heart Club. 3 just modest ways of supporting the channel as we cover Pulsechain and Hex every day and a lot of other cool crypto stuff. Why not? All right, so that is where we are at the moment. So looking pretty good actually on Bitcoin. So let's see how we get on leading into the 1st of February Fed meeting. A window of opportunity this in January for the most part has been pretty the bullish scenario, which is great to see. We're going to jump into Hex, and we've got Hex at the moment. 2.298 cents. Now, the title of the video is Hex Whale Redistribution. What do I mean by that? Well, we've got big whales that have had a lot of Hex for a long time. Probably, I think they're all kind of OGs back from the beginning, near the beginning of Hex. They've been selling a lot of their bags. And that means near the bottom of the market too. I mean, we're about 95% down, aren't we? I think most as we've been is 97% down. And they've been redistributing their Hex to the new people, the new retail book. And that's kind of cool if you think about it. And of course, they're not selling at 50 cents. They're selling down here at this price. So that's kind of cool. There are people that sold thousands of Ethereum back when Ethereum was as cheap as chips. And, that wasn't a good decision. Will this end up being a good decision? Well, yeah, these guys are making maybe $1 million or a couple of $1 million or $10 million. But they're redistributing at this price level. So if you're a strong believer in Hex and Pulsechain net over time, then maybe that wasn't as relatively as good a decision. We'll see. At the moment, of course, we're at 2.3 cents approximately. We've had 435 buys versus 160 sells. So that's a 75% number of buyers. So we've got a lot of buying going on. However, the selling has been 57% of the volume, and that's because of the big whale that's selling down at the moment. So we had, remember, 2 whales over the last 10 days. We had this third whale pop up, and they decided to early in-stake their 264-day stake. And, of course, they ended up getting the penalty was the same as the reward. And so basically they end up with their principal, and they've been selling that down since yesterday. They were selling a lot of it down. We're going to have a look at that. And that's kind of where they are at the moment. But basically what it means is that instead of wrecking our chart in terms of rallying up, I thought we might have a good chance of attacking at 2.8 cents again. They have sold down the chart. So you can see that here, selling down the chart. And they're also in here as well because they didn't. They still had 10 million after they had sold this. So they sold this down. They still had 10 million left overnight. And they've been selling a little bit of that into here. So they're almost out. Not quite yet. We're going to look at that in a second. So that is where they are at the moment. We got up to 2.6 cents, which is a pretty nice little rally. And of course, that's all been pulled back. But when we got 2.6, I thought we might get up to 2.8 and attack that 2.8 to 2.31. That's our resistance zone. We want to break through that at some stage. And this is where we are at the moment. Obviously, people are excited about Pulsechain Testnet V3 coming up. It seems like it is getting closer by all signals that we've seen so far, all little pieces of evidence. We will see. It could be a couple of days. It could be 10, 20, 30 days. I mean, it could be anywhere in that sort of time zone. But it does feel like it is actually, for once, getting closer. So that is good. Let's have a quick look at the Hex Whale bot and check that out. So let's go up here. We had 48 million. This is the one here. So this is the whale that decided to sell out. Now, this whale is big. This whale's got a lot of T-shares and other stuff. This is their liquid stake. And, of course, this is a juggernaut. So in the future, we may see this whale do sell-offs as well in the future. But their stakes are way out. So I think they've got quite a bit. But at the moment, they've got a reward 1.9 and, of course, the penalty 1.9. So basically, they just crossed each other off, and they've been selling down as 48 at the moment. I'm not sure if anyone's made comments inside here. So a quick look. Yeah, your friend Somi. Wallet 3F63 has early in-staked and paid penalty of 1.9 million Hex, which is $950,000 at the top. So that's at 50 cents. But he doesn't care about it. He has 13,400 T-shares. This whale is a juggernaut. I mean, this is a big player in Hex, and of course, 224 million total Hex. Has 210 million Hex due in August 2024. So that's later on in the year. He'll probably murder the price is what Somni's saying, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. Now, we're probably expecting this to be just before we get the Fed pivot, maybe September, October is when my time frame is. Currently 40 million liquid Hex ready to dump, and that's what he has been dumping. So that is the last whale. I mean, we got rid of a whale before this, which was over 200 million. Now we've got this whale around as well. Interesting timing before Pulsechain and PulseX. They are getting stable coins though, aren't they? I'm not sure whether those stable coins gone on or else, but they are getting stable coins. This whale is a big whale. A lot of the funds going to a big account, which I tracked into being $22 million in it. So it's not a small whale by any account. And of course, this is the stakes it's got in at the moment. So 40 million liquid, 224 million total Hex there. And you can see the amount of T-shares it's got up for grabs, as you can see in here. So 3,900 T-shares are out at August of 2030. But remember my point about when we get to year 2025, 26, I've been saying that we expect a lot of emergency in-state penalties. There's a lot of these 10-year stakes go 50%. And this is particularly important when you have big whales. So that's definitely in the play. So what does that mean? That means there's a lot of penalties coming for people that are staking. So, but you have to absorb the impact of the sell down on the price. So let's say we rally, have a bull market in 24. We could easily see, emergency in stakes in 25, 26, even 24 itself. So, people will hit their principal. They think that the price is worth it to them. So the Truth Engine will penalize them. Now 50% will get redistributed, 50% will go to OA and get reduce our effective inflation. So that's the kind of play there. They've also got 700 T-shares coming out 2028, and of course 1,225. So you're going to see a lot of flushing out of all this stuff over time, and that's why the T-share pool is going to get smaller, and of course the rewards are going to go up. So the price is going to have periods of intense volatility, is my guess there, especially as the price goes up at particular points. So definitely that's why it's important to keep a track of what's going on, so that you have a good idea of when things might drop, although you don't know when a whale's going to pull the trigger all the time. So anyway, this is the 40 million liquid, and they decided to sell it down near the bottom of the market, just the way it goes. So that is that one. And of course, we had earlier in the week, we had this DO1 wallet and associated wallets, got about 8 different wallets. And of course, they had been dumping 200 million Hex. So we've had a period of whale redistribution. So there's large holders from the OG days redistributing their Hex, taking the US dollars, and who knows what they'll do. And some of them, this one here in particular, switched it to DAI, which was a pretty interesting move, as we've got a lot of the PulseX sacrifice money is in DAI as well. Obviously, there's no God mode key, so no key there to turn it off. And so that's probably the reason why the PulseX has gone in there and gone to DAI, so that the keys don't get turned off on those stables. So that's kind of cool. Looking at this tiny little red weekly candle, he says Somni, that's the damage of wallet DO1 exiting 200 million Hex. Better to get rid of weak hands at the low price. And this is the good news about this aspect. Smaller accounts absorbed it. That is the good news as well. That means that you, the retail book out there, can pick up Hex for cheaper and get a lot more of the volume. So it's kind of cool. That recycling is pretty important. It's a healthy part of crypto and markets generally. Back in 2015, a dude sold 8,000 ETH at $12 and considered himself a genius. So there we are. We'll see how we get on there. So that is the weekly candle for Hex there, and of course impacted by the whale. But of course we've got this other whale up at the moment, and this whale is selling out. So this is have a quick look at what the whale's been doing in terms of the price. We can see that the whale still has a 6.3 million Hex left. That's 145,000. So the whale's impact on the chart is almost over, but there's still some to play out there. And of course, we can see that the whale here, it came out of a stake, and that stake was that 264-day one, came out early, and 48 million there came out. Then it decided to sell it down. You can see it 21 hours ago, it sold down 8 million, and then it started selling about 4 million at a time, a couple hours apart. It had a big gap here, 18 hours and then to 14 hours, so about a 4-hour gap. Then it started selling more down. Then it had about an 8-hour gap, and then it's just sold 6 hours ago, sold another 4 million, and it's got 6.3 million left. So I expect this all to go, expect that all to sell at some stage, probably today, and maybe in the next few hours, maybe at the end of the tick over. So we're ticking over in about 15 minutes at the end of the day. Maybe it's going to do it then. Maybe it's going to do it then. It's going to be interesting to see that play out. So that is what's been happening with the chart with Hex. And that means that people have been able to pick Hex up cheaper. Instead of paying 2.6 at the moment, you're paying about 2.3, so you get more volume. So it's what goes around comes around, I guess. What that means, I don't know. You can decide. On the Hex stakes, let's have a quick look at the Hex stakes coming out. We're going to look out through the end of August and see what's coming out at the moment. So we have got, if you see in the Hex stake side, so we've still got a lot of liquid around, obviously. But if you're looking at the staking point of view, look at these candles are really low now. The candle staking ahead of us is very low. This is really positive for price appreciation. And this is really exciting to see that. So we're getting a lot less candles. We've still got all these front runners, then the short stakers, and they're all going to restake, but they're going to be paying after this. They're going to be paying 600 Hex more per T share. And then we've got the Hex Godwell, the stake here coming out. It's going to be interesting to see what that does because, like I said to you, I talked about the possible scenarios with that yesterday. But that's going to be fun to see. Is it going to hold liquid? Is it going to restake short? If it restakes short, then it's going to keep increasing the share rate and reducing the APY slightly. That's going to be pretty interesting. See what it does. Or is it going to go out long? It's already got long stakes as well. So we'll see what plays out there at the moment. So that's pretty tricky. And of course, what it does is it's lowering the T shares for these larger holders in particular. And of course, as they scrap interest, so it's going to be interesting to see that play out. But in any case, regardless of that, it looks pretty good moving ahead. This old global staking ladder, fun times. That is pretty much it on there. That is the Hex chart at the moment. Let's have a quick look at the daily, and let's zoom this out. We're going to get rid of the right hand side. So that is what the chart looks like at the moment. We've still got kind of a bullishness crossed in there, but of course this day may end up closing that out. So we need a green day after this, but the whale's almost done. The whale is almost done, and maybe we'll be able to hold this bullish buying into next week. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, we've got the Fed on the first. So the first there is in here. That's the first. We've got the Fed, and then of course maybe we'll get some Pulsechain testing at the V3 news. That's a game on, right? That's all game on after that, I think. Now, the RSI is still not anywhere near oversold or overbought. It's sitting down at about 46, which is holding up pretty well. And I think the retail book did a pretty good fight there yesterday. It's a bit quiet today. As you can see, the price is down at 2.298. But that's a lot to absorb, right? A lot to absorb 40 million X plus a bit of other stuff that people throw in there as well. Let's quickly go into the time frame. Let's get rid of the RSI, and let's have a look where we are going here. Let's have a look here. We've got so this is kind of the time frame here. I've got the earliest. This is my speculation, but the earliest here I've got here 26th of January through to about the 12th of March. But I'm probably expecting Pulsechain testing at V3 on the front end of this time frame. But I do expect it to run for at least 6 weeks. I mean, that's kind of prudent testing. You want to get all the third-party dApps to test on it, like Power City, Liquid Loans, and others. You want to test the running of the chain itself by the team, and of course find any bugs, any issues, meta issues, number scale issues, any processes, anything like that that's not quite working right there. The execution layer, the consensus layer working together, that sort of stuff. So you want all that to be working. Obviously, having your validators in play as well. So that's kind of where we are at the stage on the testnet, and that's kind of what we're looking for next. Now, obviously, that could do some pretty major stuff with the price chart, and at the moment, to break out of this, you sort of see the short-term downtrend. This resistance, we really need to hit around about 3 cents to 3.1. So that's where we're getting that 2.8 to 3.1 resistance. So this is the sort of the bottom line, 2.8, and then of course getting up above 2.1 here to break out of this this resistance here. Now, obviously, Hex is in a bear market for the Hex chart itself after reaching 10,000 X and going down to about 97% down. You can see that around here at the end of December, early January. We want to break out of that blue line there, and that's what we want to achieve. So that's the blue line. This is on log scale, by the way. And of course, we want to bust out of this blue line. Now, obviously, as we move forward in time, busting out of this blue line is much easier. But even busting out of the blue line doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have your rally. It could mean that you move sideways and do all sorts of stuff. But it's kind of positive to bust out of that resistance line there before we enter the next big thing. Obviously, that's all things normal. If you had a normal chart, but of course we have Pulsechain coming and PulseX, so it's not really normal, is it? We could see a quick V, a quick rise up there on Pulsechain and PulseX, right? So that's kind of what we're waiting to see, and that could all happen in a pretty short space of time there, as we can see. So if we get the Fed playing out as we hope at 25 basis points for February and March, we get the financials timing right, we get the technology timing right, and of course we have all the ecosystem finishing their AAA dApps at the same time, then we have a kind of an awesome time. Maybe we will get that launch in April to May for Pulsechain mainnet. That's kind of where we're sitting at the moment, with the Shanghai fork and the Uniswap V3 license in between there, optional, as we saw from one of the devs. That is the case for Shanghai. So looking good. Let's go over to, we're going to close some of this down. We've got a cool little video here from Hexvida or Avida X. I think probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, one of the biggest anyway, Twitter influencers in the Hex and Pulsechain space. And of course, she did a little video that she just put out a couple of minutes ago, and we're going to listen to that. It is about 4 or 5 minutes long, but I think it's kind of inspiring, so I did want to play it. So let's hear from her.
Honest video here. So being born at the top and keeping my cool all the way down to the bottom has really not been easy, but I'm gonna tell you why I do it. I've grown tremendously over the past year, and with that comes great things, good things and bad things too. Bad things can be that I give too much fake hopium, as people call it, but I call it being optimistic and logic in a bear market. Good ones could be that I got hundreds and hundreds of DMs from the beginning until now, with people asking for a collaboration or me shilling their coin. Also a magazine that we all know, they also wanted me to turn on Richard. To me, those weren't offers. That was a confirmation that the Hex community is very valuable. And because I feel sure or sound like a maxi on Twitter and love all of this, people think I get paid for it. I was out eating dinner with Richard for hours, and hearing Richard say that every major exchange could collapse soon because not your keys, not your coins. Before Free Arrow Capital and Luna even happened, that was what made me think like, this guy could be a genius. So basically, Richard being right was what brought me closer to the whole thing, and him actually knowing what he's talking about. He was gonna take on Instagram and Twitter too and make a museum, and he did it. He did it all. So why shouldn't I trust him? That's seriously why I'm making this video. If you witnessed what I was so lucky to witness and hear, you would feel the same way and you would have the same respect too. At least I haven't heard anything bad from anyone that have ever met him. Only haters. It's always haters, and I'm fine with that because it's always the easiest. We've been in a bear market for a long time now, and we probably still are. So it's always easier to be angry and sad. To me, he's the most honest and flashiest guy in crypto, and he does what he says. He will probably be hugely rewarded for that, and people will hate him even more. I do this for free. We all do this for free in hardcore manner, because we all need a person with power to tell us the truth. But not many see it at all, and that's why it's so hard for me to make interviews. Richard and the Hexicans are only getting treated this way because we're in a bear market and Pulsechain has been delayed. I've been setting up interviews and at least tried to set up interviews, and Richard is always ready to go when I hit him up, but they're not. It's amazing to see how many people know about Richard but is afraid to talk to him. Richard is always ready. So before you call me a maxi who doesn't know how to bridge communities together, just know that I have been reaching out to huge names like DJ Vlad, Daily Mail, Dylan Dennis, and Charles Hoskinson. Daily Mail wanted to do an interview, and DJ Vlad is one of the biggest hip-hop interviewers, and he didn't want to because of Richard was a rumored scammer, but he wants to interview human traffickers and murderers, so Dylan Dennis was the guy that was about to fight KSI. He already knew about Richard before I reached out to him. And I asked him if he could bring Richard along ringside with him, but he wanted the bag, so that's not gonna happen because neither me or Richard would ever do that. Charles Hoskinson didn't want to because he has some kind of hatred against Richard, I don't know. But a huge producer for Hollywood back in the days, he wanted to do an interview, and even On Take wanted to. It's really not easy to set up interviews unless they like you or you pay. And that's the reason why you don't see Richard on huge platforms. Because right now it's only the critical thinking minds that can see beyond it all. I guess we just have to wait to expand our community till Pulsechain is out. And then people will take us and Richard more seriously. And every other ERC20 community will join us, and that's where the fun begins.
All right, so that was an update from, I guess it's Avida X, and knows Richard as well. Now, that's the first part there, why I will stick to the Richard Hart ecosystem. And of course, she'll obviously be posting other parts of that series. I thought it was kind of cool. We got Tamana in house here. What's up? Good to see you, Tamanu's cooking there. And we've got Rango as well. Morning all. Results says, thanks, Superman. Hey, you're welcome, man. Always a pleasure. Guess what's one has landed. What's up, Superman? Good to see you. And of course, our latest member on the channel, Michael R, became a YouTube member. So big shout out there, Michael. Appreciate the support, as you know. Wookie's in house there. Come on, Wookie. You are a Jedi Hexkin. Wookie is incredible in our community. So big shout out to you. Michael, woo, yeah, rock it on. We got Brian in house there. Groot, that's a nice one. You must have just watched that movie, I guess. Hans Peter in house there. Wen Moon from Hans Peter. Why would they do that? I'm not sure what that conversation is there. Jackie, oh yeah, you mean dump? Yeah, dump the whale. Who knows? I mean, they're getting stable coins. Maybe they're a bit risk nervous. Maybe they're buying a house. Who knows why they're doing it? Maybe they're just allocating it somewhere else. They're going to be that is a big whale. It's got tens of millions of dollars, so maybe it's doing something else. We will find out. Jack X says, but why dump just for Pulse? Yeah, it could be all sorts of reasons, I guess. I love to know their motivation. Do they know something we don't? Well, that's the thing, you know, are any of these whales associated to the inner circle of Richard? Some people speculate, who knows? But in any case, maybe they're just independent whales and they're doing their own thing. So, you know, conspiracy theories are easy to make. Machiavelli in house there. Hey, Machiavelli. We got the Sapper as well. Having given this a lot of thought, I have come up to the conclusion that they are just, yeah, it's a family channel there, Sapper. Family channel. Brennan says, morning, Superman. Good to see you, Brennan. And of course, that is our Discord. If you want to get on Discord, you like good community and good information, Hex and Pulsechain, then get into it on Discord. It's such a good format for having conversations. So just definitely get in there. It's really, really cool. What else there? Damn, that whale is fat. It is a giant whale. That is a big account. It's no joke. 13,000 t-shirts is a large money printer. It is indeed. Christian said that's the power of having cash. You can buy heavy, says Christian. Yeah, that's true. So obviously with Pulsechain come out, some whales will want cash. So, but this whale already had tens of millions of cash. So yeah, it's not exactly sure what was happening here. Check My Pulse says, what's up, Hexkins? Good to see you. Check My Pulse. What else there? Let's see. Christian says, don't cry, Wookie. You're all good. Yeah. Dave says, what do you think about Hedron in 2023? Oh, I think Hedron will go along well with the rest of Hex ecosystem. I think that it'll probably be the case there. The February burn will be pretty interesting. I think that will be a pretty interesting sign. But I do think it's probably going to move just along with the Hex does well. Then Hedron will do well. It's probably my general thoughts there. The chart is great, says Abit. I do want to see more, Dave. I do want to see more burn out of that the February cycle of auctions. Hopefully we'll see more, eat up that minting. That's where the burn's greater than minting. I'd like to see that. Abit's in the house there. That chart is great. And what else there? I think you're talking about the Hex chart there, so it's cool. Let's jump through that. Shano's in the house there. Hey, you're all legends. Hey, good to see Shano. Sandy says she is tall. She is tall. You saw her picture against Richard. She's pretty tall because Richard's not. I don't know what height he is. He's not short though, is he? So she must be pretty tall. Obviously, she probably had high heels on. I didn't check that, but she may have had high heels as well, but she is tall. Everybody, a little late today, says Ted. Hey, always a pleasure. Good to see you in the house, Ted. Who else is there? Great statement, says A-Bit Hex from Avida. Yeah, it was really good. I liked it. That's why I thought it was worth posting. That's for sure. Brennan says, thanks for all you do, man. Love your work. I appreciate that, Brennan. Right back at you. We got a great community. Daniel in the house says, so we have critical thinking minds. Nice. Yeah, I like that phrase because I've used that myself, right? We need more critical thinkers rather than zombies. Don't let a whale dictate your move. Well, yeah, that's right. And even though the whale's selling down, we've had a couple of these whales over the last 10 days or 2 weeks. The retail book can buy up at a lot cheaper, more volume, and that's a good thing for you, right? That's a good thing for you. I think RH is 6 feet tall. Well, she looks like 6'5" or something like in that picture. All right, so cool. That is the update there from Hex. Let's jump away we're going to jump out of all this stuff, and Hex is currently at 2.298, so no difference there. I will post the link to her tweet if you want to follow her and the rest of her series. There it is there. Bam. So that is her tweet there if you want to follow that. Crypto Tycoon. Hey, hello, Superman. Good to be back. Good to see you back, Crypto Tycoon. Welcome. Brendan Clerk says, can't wait for the next bear market. Going to be epic with the extra capital we all have. That's true. That is true. All right, so cool. Let us move on. We're going to go into Pulsechain now. Obviously, we've had some cool teasers, and of course, Richard posted. This is after whales sell too on both occasions, right? The whales were selling out, and Richard. So we've had 3 big whales sell out, and plus other significant. We had a couple other significant accounts other than that over the last 2 weeks, and of course, the first 2 whales. We got these updates. Now, people were saying that the whale that we just looked at, that Richard, that was maybe the whale was trying to get another update on Pulsechain. I thought it was kind of funny. Just some Pulsechain teaser. It's working on private testnet v3, and of course, we've been very excited about the staking front end and obviously validator stuff there. And I suggest we'll see a lot of innovation in the validator space for people that have under 32 million, and for people that have 32 million and don't want to directly, but interact with the validator machine. So it's kind of cool. So we've had 516,000 views on that so far, and that's since the 12th of January. So since the 12th of January there, which is what, 12th of January, that's 11 days. 11 days, 516,000 views, pretty nice. And then, of course, we got the V3 testnet update. And, of course, that had our block explorer there, the new block explorer, and looking very exciting there. We had 10-second block times over here on the recent blocks. And, of course, we had they still had the ETH written on here on the chart, which means, they're in that final throes of testing and changing things around. So very, very exciting there. Looks really cool. Now, what has it? The team is working pretty hard. We can see here, even over the weekend, the team is working the 21st to 22nd here. We got Brett there is logged in on 22nd. What they're doing there, we don't know, but they are working hard. And we got another one there here by SJB on the 22nd. This is on the Pulsechain group. On the PulseX group, we've also got, let's see over here. We've got Ben C, 22nd there. We've got Brett Paulson, 22nd there. And who else? So, yeah, they're working. So we got a few people working on the weekend. That's the way it goes. So cool. It's nice to see that. So that is some of the stuff there. Now, there was a bit of stuff on PulseX updates. The site went down briefly, as I understand it. I wasn't there, but apparently it did. Obviously, it's got here the title PulseX will launch soon. I can't actually remember whether that was on there or not before. But in any case, PulseX will launch soon is on the site there. This was taken down, the sacrifice amounts, but it's been put back up. So that's definitely happened. And we would like to see another timer. That'd be pretty cool to see a nice timer here. PulseX will launch soon. A countdown timer would be pretty nice. So that would be pretty cool. That would be FOMO on the chart, that's for sure. So that's pretty cool. Project status, volume bonus. So it's got all the sacrifice stuff still there. Most liquid exchange, got all that stuff still. PulseX is designed to increase in value. All that stuff still there. PulseX is awesome. And that's all there now. Now this has come back here. This 0.1 here has come back. That was actually off before. We were only down to 76 and 21. So that looks, maybe they've added that back in. That's pretty interesting. Because that takes us to, that's pretty interesting there, 76%, 21%. So yeah, might double check that. That is interesting. that is the play there on that one. Now, Top Gun Hexadian did a really good tweet, and I thought you guys might enjoy this. He put this out here about if you had sacrifice for Pulsechain, what sort of, in Hex we have these fish categories based on how many T-shares you have. Well, this is based on Pulsechain, which I kind of thought was kind of cool. We've got the whale here, 130 billion for a whale they've got in categories. Now, I don't know how, I guess it's similar logic to the T-shares. Shark is 13 billion, and dolphins are 1.3 billion, and of course squids 130 million is Pulse there. Remember, for the sacrifice, it was only about maybe somewhere between between 41,000 and 43,000 or so. There's syndicated wallets in there too that sacrificed, and some of those wallets sacrificed are actually Genesis account holders. So some people take the strategy if they do that, maybe their main sacrifice, then they do several other sacrifice wallets just so they can get Genesis accounts, so that if there's airdrops, they can get all those claims and scoop them up. So there's a bit of that in there as well, not just syndicated stuff. But in any case, that's not that many wallets really. So there's squids there, and then there's turtles, 13 million for a turtle, a crab, 1.3 million Pulse for a crab, and a shrimp, 130,000 for a shrimp. So that's kind of the breakdown. I thought that was kind of cool. Let me know if you agree with that allocation. It's probably just based similar on the percentages. So that is kind of cool for Pulsechain. Let me see if anyone's made any comment on that. Ted Nasty said, Superman, witness the last time you took a day off. You are like clockwork every day with the best daily coverage of crypto news. I appreciate that, Ted. Yeah, I don't know. Can't remember taking the day off, actually. Do you have a toad spot? Do you have a toad spot? I'm not sure what that is. Toad spot, lol. It's Christian House there says, joking, I just missed both. Right, so yeah. I'm not sure what you mean by that one, the toad spot. Don't know what that means. But all right, cool. Let's move on from there. We've got also the PulseX categories. Apparently, wow. Now we had almost three and a half, maybe 3.5 times more sacrifices, at least in terms of wallets. And of course, that was like 130, 140,000 wallets or so. So a lot more there. Now the difference in public supply, so we exclude the origin accounts, then we're looking at probably around about 16.5 trillion for Pulse in the public hands, and around about 15.5. Well, it's actually more about 12.5, 13 trillion for Pulse, and about 16.5 trillion for PulseX in terms of supply. Now, obviously, Pulse itself has the AMM bot's going to run, so that's going to be somewhere between 1 and 3 trillion, probably on the high end there is my guess. And so that gets us up to about similar numbers, maybe around about 15.5 trillion Pulse versus about 16.5 trillion PulseX. So that's kind of the range there for those tokens held in the public hands outside the origin accounts. So here we got the whale here. So you need 172 billion to be a whale, and you need 17.2 billion to be a shark, 1.7 billion to be a dolphin, and a squid here, 172 million to be a squid, and then turtles, 17 what am I saying here? 17 million. What was it? 17.2 million. 17.2 million. Okay. You need that for a turtle. A crab is 1.7 million, and a shrimp is 172,000 PulseX. So it gives you kind of the categories. So if you sacrifice for those, you can fit yourselves into any of those. Now, I did a video a while back on the PulseX sacrifice. Said that if Pulse ends up reaching 1 cent, then we could have about 11,000 millionaires, and assuming they didn't sell. So that's people that are over 100 million, which fits between the turtle and the squid here. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. So cool. And I think we were going to end up with about 18 billion or something like that. So obviously a lot of people will sell. There's going to be a lot of buying and selling. People will lose their positions and people will gain their positions. It's going to be an interesting time. So anyway, that was a bit of fun there from Top Gun Hexadian, another YouTuber out there in the Hex and Pulsechain space, and does one of the more analytical mathematician YouTubers as well. Now, Coast obviously has posted this again. We've seen this 100 times, but it's a good chart. And of course, it's got all the how high can Pulsechain go. We've got ETH here, Solana, ADA, AVAX, DOT, and BNB. It's got ICO to all-time highs, so that's kind of equivalent, I guess, to the sacrifice to all-time highs. Obviously, we don't know because Pulsechain's not launched, but these are the X's that these guys have had. ETH 15,500 all the way down to BNB 5,200. Solana 1181 there. I'm not sure if this has changed any time, but I'm pretty sure that's still right. And so what we get here over 3.8 years, we get a 3,954x there. So if you like some inspiration in terms of extra returns, you just never know your luck there over that time frame. Wouldn't that be pretty cool, right? I think people will be pretty happy with 100 to 300x. But hey, what happens if we do something like this? We don't know what the all-time low price is going to be too. So if you're going to measure from the all-time low rather than the sacrifice price, for example, or the ICO price, then that could be even more dramatic, right? This is where we start talking about 10,000 X's and things like that, depending on what that will be. So that's kind of cool at the moment. Now, obviously, Pulsechain is going to be similar to proof of stake. So we're going to be looking forward to those parameters that we are going to have for Pulsechain in terms of the burn and block rewards. And of course, we're going to have 10-second block times, so that will be faster than 12-second block times. That should help, be net deflationary, as we say, subject to the gwei and congestion on the network. So that's kind of where we are. We see that on Ethereum when we get to about 16 gwei or so, that we get into a net deflationary position for Ethereum. And of course, we've seen some of the major burners, obviously Uniswap. Zen has become one of the top 3 burners on there. And of course, we'd like to welcome all killer dApps that want to come and burn Pulse. You're welcome. You're welcome to Pulsechain. All right, so that's kind of the update from Pulsechain. Let's get into Hedron. Hedron at the moment is at 1380 there. And we can see that the buyers are still slightly in control. The sellers trying to catch up, though. It is converging. And, of course, we have the RSI down at 46. But we have had a sell-off day as well, following Hex down more or less, I guess, 1380 at the moment. And we've had 18 buys versus 21 sells. So sellers have been in control. And the volume has been 75% to the sellers there on old Hedron. We will see how that goes. And I do really feel it's fairly tied to, obviously, on top of it, because this is a derivative of Hex. It's really tied into, the Hex future as well. What else we got going here? We've got the HSIs in the auctions, 4,337 HSIs that have not been bought into the auction house. They're in the liquidation queue. You can bring them in by starting an auction. And, of course, how many in the auction house at the moment? 26. So we've got 26 here. Let's have a look, see if there's any really, really large ones. Obviously, there's lots of 2,000. Look at all these 2,000 ones. Quarter of a T-shares. Let's jump through. We've got 69,000 Hex there. That's 8.3 T-shares. 50,000 Hex, 6.2 T-shares. They're kind of some of the bigger ones there at the moment over the next 24 hours. So we'll see how that goes. Now, if you want to bid on those, of course, you have to go to app.koza.pro. The links are in our Discord under useful links. Go check that out. All right, under Hedron and Koza, we got 4 WhatsApp NFTs burned in the last 24 hours. And that is 818 million points. And we can see that it's actually, fairly modest there. It's about, $800 or so being burned. So cool. Burned by transfer and burned by minter. So there we are. There's the breakdown of those colors. So that is pretty much it for the Hedron ecosystem. Let's see. Now we're going to get into some of the specialty topics. Now, obviously, we've been talking about Pulse Bitcoin a little bit last couple of days because of the dramatic sell-off in here. And, of course, we did see that it did get slightly into oversold territory on the RSI, but it has bounced back up here up to 40 points on the RSI there. And we see it actually bounced off 3 days ago, was it? Bounced off 87 cents, and it's now at $1.23. Did get as high in the candle. This candle just finished, and that did get as high as $1.33. So it has bounced off the bottom there for the time being, and we'll just have to wait to see where it goes. It's up 53% in that two-day time frame. So that's nice. That's nice to see that, because obviously people are mining Pulse Bitcoin, probably getting a little bit worried when the price starts going down under $1. That's kind of a bit of a thing that you don't really want to happen. But that is where it's gone. And we saw this in Koza as well, right? Went under $1 and we're down to what, 23 cents or so, 28 cents, and bounced back to 55 or so. So this is some similar thing here with the output token. This is kind of the last mile token, isn't it? So we'll see how it happens. That is that. Nice little gains if you decide to take the risk and try and find the bottom and buy up. That is where it is at the moment. So that is Pulse Bitcoin. Our next specialty topic is Zen. Zen did hit 10,000 minted NFTs. As I've said before, this will be a function of inflation. As there's more inflation coming into the system, more people will, instead of selling down their tokens, go and get the NFT. We'll also see more buying on the market to get the NFTs as well. In terms of minting, though, a lot of the minting is going on also. So it's not just getting the rare NFTs like the Apexes, but also minting the collector ones, which are basically you can batch mint up to 128 wallets into the future. And so that's been very popular too. So we've hit over 10,000, which is a pretty cool milestone. Looks like we've got 5% of those are listed. 5% are listed from the looks of it. So that gives you an idea. Let's jump quickly to the mint monitor and see what that is at the moment. 15 Gwei. It will cost you $4.39 there. You're looking at the max term is now 444 days. It's a $58 profit at the moment. Obviously, no one knows what the future will be. We play probability to try and predict that, but that's kind of where you get there. Now, one of the big deals, because the Gwei was really high, not many people were minting. Gwei's come back down, and we had 127,736 wallets or accounts added on the global rank overnight. That has dramatically decreased the EAA. Bonus is down to 1.8. Once this reaches 10 million, this will be 0 on the EAA. But I don't think it's going to slow down the minting. Typically, with a log 2 function over the first 8 years, you want to mint particularly strongly in the first 2 years in particular, and that's where you get the most volume. So this is going to be, we'll still see that keep going. 107 days into the Zen project. Let's quickly look at the dashboard and see what the inflation is. So we've got liquid supply is almost at 5 trillion Zen. 5 trillion Zen is almost in there. 354 billion Zen is actually staking, and we can see that on the chart here. Let's quickly go down to the bottom. We can see that today's results have come out. So 110 billion was minted or claimed today. 2.5 billion went staking. A massive, this is big, a massive 23.2 billion Zen was burned today. So that's a big burning day. And so the net outcome is 108 billion added to this circulating supply, and it's almost at 5 trillion. We go to the burn. The burn is sitting at a very handsome, it's 8.68%, just over half a trillion Zen has now been burned. That's pretty cool. And the staking is sitting at 6%, and it's at 354 billion. So pretty cool. So far being mined at the moment is 55 trillion Zen. This is into the future over the next 444 days is to be minted. That's 10% of the potential. And of course, we can see that by the time we get through the end of February into the beginning of March, we don't have a lot of mints in there. And I don't think we'll get too many because playing the short game, less than 90 days is pretty much not worth it, I don't think, for the most part, unless you're very lucky to get some low Gwei. And that seems to be pretty high. And of course, this goes all the way out to about September here. And so this is going to be an interesting price period in between March and September. That's going to be pretty interesting. We do have some big candles in there on some days, but for the most part, it's much lower. And it'll be interesting to see. I don't think we'll see as many short mints as we have seen, up into this February period. So it's going to be interesting to see where that plays out. That kind of where I feel it looks like at the moment. Now, the trends are your friends, of course. We can see the trends here. The stakes, staking is up to 353 billion. We can see the stake trend has gone up. We can see obviously inflation's going up, so it's part of it too. The stakes of the penalties have gone up 65 billion, and the burns are up at obviously really rocketing up here. You can see a nice little trend in the burns. That is very cool. All right, so that's some of the highlights there. Let's jump over to the BNB pot. This is our third project that we're having a quick look at. Now, the big deal here is that the participation wallet has been won. So this is the launch bonus. That has all been won, 100,000 BNBP, but it has not yet been paid out. It is still staked. It is still staked. So that is due to be paid out. I'm not sure when they're going to do that, but the stake has already matured. If we go to staking, we can see the BNBP participation launch phase bonus wallet is here. In other words, if you won BNB during the game, or you did referrals, you should be getting paid out. And of course, I'm not sure what they've given an update on Telegram or not. Let us know in the chat if you know. But that is still there, still staking. We can go to the account and we can see that it is actually still staking and has not yet been paid out there. So there's the balance. So I guess it's going to happen pretty soon when the team's ready. Is kind of the highlights there. So that is kind of the cool stuff there. Let us jump out of all this. We're going to get into the Hex Daily Stats. We're coming up on 50 minutes. Man, what a fast live stream I've done today. That is it. So let's get into Hex Daily Stats. We're on day 1147, and it's the 22nd of January. The price at the moment is 2.299 was the snapshot, down 7.8%, basically due to the big whale. We got the payout per T-share at 6.371, so it's a pretty good day in the office for us Hexkins. You stake Hex and you get T-shares, and then you get paid out the reward from the reward pool, Hex per T-share per day, so it's kind of cool. The T-share price $589. The share rate is up 13.7 at the moment. It's 13.7 Hex, and we're at 25,686. Sorry, 25,608. I was trying to say there. I missed out the zero. That's pretty hilarious. Average stake length 6.5 years, and of course the APY rate there 36.79% paid out in Hex terms. Obviously, US dollar price can move around. The liquidity in the pool because of the whale. The whale is your friend, folks. We're up at 406 million Hex in the pool. So this is truly a redistribution from the whale. So if you're wanting to pick up lots of volume Hex, it's a good time for you to do that. Liquidity in the pool 10.5 million USDC. And of course, remember when we had the top of Hex price at around about 50 cents, this was up at around 35 million USDC. So it gives you an idea of the difference. So if you're thinking about those big prices, you know what sort of economic energy needs to come into the chart there. Now, obviously, excitement and the trend is your friend with Pulsechain and things like that coming up. That is how you might achieve that. And there's a number of different big parties that may, when agencies or participants, market participants, that's a better phrase, that may make that happen. And I still want to do a video on that because that's why I'm not talking about it. But anyway, so liquidity pool is set at 1,250. That is the ETH there at the moment. Let's jump over to the T-shares. It is down 409 T-shares at the moment. So we're sitting at 10,298,398 T-shares. Remember, Hex is easy to understand. We have a reward pool with the inflation and penalties in it, and we have an ownership pool with the T-shares in it. T-shares stands for trillions of shares. So if the reward pool, the ownership pool goes up or down each day, then your Hex payout per T-share goes up or down each day. But basically, it's just going to go up and to the right. So that's for, if you're new to Hex, I always try to give that explanation to you. Let's get over to stake percentage of coins. 10.08% of Hex is staked at the moment. Really good office day in the office. Not only do Hexicans with staked Hex get the inflation yield, but we also get 50% of the penalties distributed based on our T-share ownership. And of course, we got almost 2.6 million Hex penalties today. So a good day in the office. We've had some really spectacular ones. Like 2 days ago, we had 12.4 million. Really is a redistribution phase there. Pretty neat. Not only in terms of price, but in terms of penalties, right? So a lot of these guys that in stake, like that big whale, they get penalized, and that 50% of those penalties go to us. And of course, then you also, if you're buying, you get a cheaper price. So kind of a double whammy if you're in that situation. Current change in current holders 73 is the increase on Etherscan. We're at 316,958, and our headline number is spectacular. Look at this today. My goodness, a big jump here, 150 to 117,837. Very, very cool. Like to see that. Triple digit numbers. Very nice for stakers. And we're sitting at total holders up 406 up to 524,557. That is day 1147, folks. Hex is in its 4th year and its 2nd month as it rocks on towards 15 years. This is first major milestone, the 555 stakes. We're at day 11, 1,148 is the current day, and our base T-share rate is almost 6.23 X per T-share. So let's see how we get on here. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, here we are back on Hex chart. Let's go back to the hourly, and let's zoom in on this. Let's auto log this on the hourly. Bam. There's our hourly chart. Let's zoom this out here a bit more. Bam. All right, let's get into that. Let's actually go 15-minute chart. Why not? Let's do it. Let's go 15-minute chart. Bam. There's a 15-minute chart at the moment. We're at 2.307. Nice one. And the whale's only got maybe one more shot. It will probably drop all the 6 million, I guess, in one go. Let's go into any of the other comments we've got. We've got 10 nuts said Superman. Definitely got up to that comment. Andrew Reynolds and House KDP posted an update on Twitter about SAC balance updates. Pulsechain getting closer, can feel it. Yeah, I checked this out about SAC balances before the live stream. I couldn't see any update on there. Satama and House there. Good news. The Pulse Zen cow. What was it? Pulse Zen coin, low market cap coin on BSC will be added to the BNB roulette wheel. Good news. The Pulse Zen coin, low micro cap coin on BSC will be added to the BNB roulette. Okay, that's cool. On for BNB. Oh, that's cool to see. Kizo says, yeah, Pulse Zen could be pumped. Pulse Zen could be pumped, but a whale did big sell today, says Kizo. Okay, big sell of Zen, you mean? Yep. Looking to Pulse Zen only, says Dan Dog. Yep, all right. You guys are shilling in the chat there. All right. So we're at 2.3 cents on the Hex there. Nice. And we had some good updates. So I thought, we talked about Pulsechain earlier, and Randy Alaska had a cool video about Pulsechain. So let's hear from him as well.
So what he says there at the end is that Pulsechain could do to ETH what ETH did to Bitcoin. It might not be as grand of a scale, but it could. And that's not even the 1000x part. That's just the fact that Pulsechain is going to put a whooping on Ethereum. And when it comes to price performance, I am just ecstatic for what's coming to us over the next couple of years. We as a community put our trust in RH because he was really good at seeing what's coming in the future. And now we're about to get rewarded big time for trusting the man. He saw that Ethereum fees were going to continue to rise in the coming years.
So that was a bit of a nice little update there from Randy. I'm not sure exactly when that was dated, but very, very cool from Randy to hear from that. So that is where we're at the moment, 56 minutes on the live stream. This is the shortest live stream I have done in a long time. And, of course, here we are, 2.3 cents, on the Hex there. 23 cents, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be 10x. 2.3 cents on the Hex chart. Let's see where it goes at the moment on the quarterly 15 minutes. It's certainly looking positive. Let's have a look on the hourly chart and see what those bands look like. Obviously, we're still in that bear market at the moment. We want the orange line, the EMA 9-day EMA to close over the red line, the 21-day. And that's a short over the longer term, and on the way up we will be, I'm sure. Obviously, any Pulsechain testnet news, this will start rocketing again. Very, very cool. And we got, we wiped out another piece of a whale supply. How about that? That's pretty cool. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Well, this is the earliest live stream ever, 58 minutes. How about that? Normally I'm doing an hour and a quarter or longer, but today is a short day. It is Monday in good old Kiwiland, Sunday in the United States and Europe, I guess. So a big shout out to wherever you live. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, and all that good stuff. It is going to be a fun time this year for Pulsechain and Hex and PulseX. It is really going to be glorious, honestly. Can't wait for it. It's going to be very, very cool over the next couple of months. Very exciting indeed. All right, take care, everybody. Let's play out some cool music on the way out. Let us find our favorite Bubble Boy. Let's do Bubble Boy. Is it Baby Bubble or is it Bubble Boy? I think it's Bubble Boy. Let's play it out. All right, bye for now. Take care.
Here in my $3,000 Valentino Rockstud purse, my $3,000 Prada jacket, $2,000 Prada shirt, $2,000 or $3,000 Prada pants, Prada glasses, Prada hat, Prada bracelet, and it's all Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off. Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.